Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. It is 7 o'clock on my clock, but I know that this software does require a download for some people and sometimes an upgrade. So I'm going to wait just about 2 to 3 minutes here for anybody else to join, and then we'll get started. In the meantime, I want to point out a couple things. In the control panel or dashboard for GoToWebinar, there are a couple little sections that you might be interested in knowing about. One at the very bottom is a chat area. And if you have questions along the way or any comments, feel free to type it in. You can select whether it goes to the entire audience or whether it just goes to Andy and I as the organizers. And we'll go ahead and check that regularly and respond as anything comes up. Right above that is a handout section, and you can access the slides that I'll be streaming momentarily. And all the way at the top under the attendee section, there is a list of all of the people that are on the call. And there is also a section where you can raise your hand. It should just look like a little hand that you can put up. And when it comes time for Q&A, that's what we'll be using to determine who has questions and who we should unmute. So please be mindful of that. So at any point, if there is a question that you have, please raise your hand, and then at the appropriate time, we'll take a break and answer those questions. This will be recorded, and I will share the recording, which will include the slides and everything, with the entire group shortly after this. And now that we've got a nice group of people on the call, hopefully everybody can hear me. If you're having any audio issues, one way to solve it is to just make sure that your audio control panel, that you have either mic and speakers selected if you're going to be using your computer for your audio, or if you're going to be dialing in, make sure that you toggle the telephone option. There are two options, and sometimes the default that you come in as is not always the way that you're going to be able to get audio. So with that, again, use the questions section down at, the chat section down at the bottom to type any comments that you have, any questions that you have. Make sure you raise your hand if you have a question. We're going to be primarily doing Q&A at the very end. And with that, I'm going to get started as soon as I can get my slides going here. Okay, great. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening once again. My name is Cassandra Staff with the GSBI. Also on the call, we have several other GSBI team members, Andy Lieberman, Steve White, Pamela Roussos, who will all be available for question and answers at the end of this presentation. But really, we're excited to be on the call with you. We're excited to be kicking off this year's GSBI Accelerator program. It's going to be a fantastic year, and we're going to make a lot of progress together. So thank you for being a part of this, and thank you for joining me this morning. Let's see. So we're going to go through a few things here. I'd like to provide some context for the program that you are participating in, just to give you a sense of what we're doing at Miller Center and GSBI on a broader scale. I'd like to review some of the feedback we got from 2015 so you can understand how that's influenced some of the program details for 2016. We'll take a quick look at the cohort, get to understand all the organizations that are participating. We'll take a look at the first module, the first deliverable, as well as the online platform that it's being hosted on, group site. And then finally, we'll just wrap up and make sure everybody knows what the next steps are so that you can get started. So the mission of Miller Center for Social Entrepreneurship at Santa Clara University is to accelerate innovation-based entrepreneurship in service to humanity. And we at the GSBI are social entrepreneur focused and work with organizations that are developing innovative solutions to the problems of poverty. And we have a suite of products that are tailored to the life cycle of the social enterprise, and we provide in-depth mentoring, best business practices, and connection to impact investors for all of them. Our core values are that innovation and entrepreneurship provide a path out of poverty, and executive mentorship combined with structured curriculum are really the basis for everything that we do and our approach to the methodology and impact model. So we do have a big, hairy, audacious goal, or a BHAG, of positively impacting the lives of 1 billion people by 2020. And that would be through the work of the social entrepreneurs that we are working with, of course. We have a particular interest in climate resilience focused social entrepreneurs, as well as entrepreneurs that are led by women and or targeting women beneficiaries. And we are funded primarily from partnerships, corporate partnerships, endowments, individual gifts. And we're really focused on, again, helping social entrepreneurs become investment ready with a justifiable ask. And that's primarily through the Accelerator program, but certainly a theme throughout all of our programs. At Miller Center, we have 3 departments. The GSBI, the Global Social Benefit Institute, of which you are part, is one. And we also have a program called Education and Action Research that is focused on students at Santa Clara University and connects them to social entrepreneur alumni of the GSBI through internships or action research projects, as we call them. And we also have an impact capital department that's focused on working with the impact investing community, both in terms of providing education and also pulling resources and content and knowledge from that space and feeding it back to the social entrepreneurs that we work with. At Santa Clara University, we also have a number of other resources through the Miller Center and outside of Miller Center. So again, Miller Center includes GSBI Impact Capital, Education and Action Research, but we also work with a global network of other mission-aligned institutions and incubators and accelerators that we work with to help support more social entrepreneurs. And our law school here, as well as our engineering school, both have social entrepreneur focused or mission aligned resources that we hope to connect you all to at some point. We work with organizations at various stages of their life cycles. And so what we've used is this blueprint to scale framework that was introduced by Monitor Group and Acumen. And we've essentially benchmarked our programs there. And so you can see for the different focus areas of each of those life cycles, we're honing in on that focus area with our particular product offering. And so you may have heard of our our GSBI Online program, or perhaps our GSBI Boost program. And for Boost and Online, we're really helping an earlier stage organization outline and develop their business model and create their business plan. And then here for the Accelerator, we're really taking organizations that have been validated and are looking to scale. Across all of our programs, of course, we're providing structured curriculum and executive mentorship. And we're also using something that is called the Stage Assessment Tool, or the Capabilities Assessment Matrix. And that's how we're really understanding all the entry and exit points for each of these stages, understanding where someone is along this continuum, and helping to identify the gaps that may exist within the organization so that the mentors and the curriculum can begin to fill in those gaps. I'm sure you all watched the video, the GSBI ARC. This is just sort of a brief highlight. Our framework for the impact model and the business model that are primarily highlighted in our Boost and Online programs, and then operational excellence and investment readiness, which is a major theme for the Accelerator. And at Miller Center and GSBI, we've been growing quite a bit, especially over the last 3 years. We've been in operation, we've been running the GSBI since 2003. And then for the first 10 years, we pretty much ran that one program. And then in 2012, we introduced GSBI Online. And in 2013, we shifted our what we call our 1.0 incubator program to the GSBI Accelerator. And then in 2014, we introduced GSBI Boost, and we're continuing to increase the number of social entrepreneurs that we serve through our product lines. Over the course of those 13 years now, we've worked with over 500 social entrepreneurs. We have over 100 executive mentors in our cadre, and approximately 131 million lives have been impacted by the social entrepreneurs that we've worked with, and approximately $178 million have been raised collectively by GSBI alumni. Some other sort of neat metrics that we like to track. 100% of our graduates would recommend our program to other social entrepreneurs. So that's something that we're very, very proud of. Our social entrepreneurs have worked in 63 countries, and our programs have been delivered in 13 countries. Great. And so several of these folks are on this call, and I'm sure you've met some or many of them before, but a brief look at our GSBI team. We've got Andy Lieberman, who does a lot of our content and our curriculum development across our programs. He also works on new programs. Karen Rundy, who is our GSBI online program manager, currently out on maternity leave. She'll be back in May. Neil Harrison, who focuses on our exchange program and our partner network. Pamela Russos is a senior director for the GSBI, and she kind of oversees everything with a particular focus on external partnerships and Boost and strategy development. And Steve White, who is our mentor network director, also a GSBI mentor for several years, and big part of our team and our development there. So looking back at the last year's feedback, again, a lot of very positive feedback. Everyone really got a lot out of the program, would recommend it. Certainly a theme throughout all of our surveys is that people are deriving the most value from the mentoring relationship. And the social entrepreneurs, in order of sort of how we help them, said that we help them talk effectively with investors, help them refine their business plan and business model, refine their growth strategy, as well as facilitated peer-to-peer collaboration. So we hope to do all of these things for you as well this year. We also always get constructive feedback. Our accelerator program and all of our programs are really built on continuous improvement. And so we will be surveying you all and hoping that you'll provide us some honest feedback, because we do take all of these words to heart and we do make changes. So one of the pieces of feedback was that we need to provide more clarification on the program structure and how everything fits together. So the GSBI ARC video is something new that we've developed, and hopefully it's helped you get some of that context. Another piece of feedback was that they would like to be connected to someone else who's been through the GSBI before the August in residence, so that someone can kind of help them understand how to succeed, what their experience was like, maybe who to talk to. And we'll certainly be doing that over the next couple months. Once you get off the road with your mentors, we'll kick you off. We'll introduce you to a social entrepreneur alumni that's been through the GSBI, so that you can make that connection. Also, connecting the entrepreneurs to expert resources sooner. We have an incredible group of expertise within the mentor network, within the staff, outside of our immediate mentor and staff networks. And so the sooner that you and your mentors or as a team, you can approach us, let us know the types of support you need. We can certainly provide that to you. And finally, several organizations sent 2 representatives. It is open as an option for all of you. And the feedback that we got for those that did they would really recommend that all organizations do that. And so I want to pass that along and say, if you have someone else on your team that is working through this program with you or can work through this program with you, it might be good to plan on bringing more than one person to the in-residence. It's a busy time. We're packing a lot in there. It's a fantastic learning opportunity, networking opportunity. And so to the extent that you can bring someone else to share that experience with you, you'll become closer for it, and you'll probably get a lot more out of it. And of course, talking to our mentors as well and getting their feedback. And we have some good feedback there as well, with the mentors indicating that it's a valuable use of their time, it meets their expectations, they receive support, and so on. And we also got some feedback from the mentors, which we're working on implementing, again, around framing everything and helping the whole group understand how the components of the curriculum are fitting together, what the goals are, some simplification of the financial model templates that we provide, more templates on the business plan, again, connecting entrepreneurs to experts early. And then once we're at the August in residence, having a printed directory to help people connect to each other better. And then also provide more one-on-one financial support and grant capital resources. So these are all things that we're planning on. So as I've highlighted in the GSBI ARC video, there are three major components to the program. And what we are kicking off right now is the online pre-work, or phase 1 component of the program. In August, we have the in-residence, and then following that, we have the implementation phase. And so I won't go into too much detail on these three here, but I would refer to the GSBI ARC video if you'd like to get into some more detail. I'm really just going to be highlighting kind of the main takeaways that I'd like you to be sure you remember. So for the online pre-work, we have sort of several content areas that we're tackling through 8 modules that are set approximately 3 weeks apart. And so there's the schedule below. And for each of the modules, we have objectives laid out, deliverables articulated, so what exactly the assignment is, templates to help you complete that assignment if you don't already have those documents created, and examples that'll help you. This is another overview of the module work. And so what we're doing right now, we're kicking off module 1. We're launching the program, and the 2 components that we're going to cover through module 1 are an orientation to the program, orientation to your mentors and introductions, and then a first pass business plan and baseline assessment of the business. So I'll get into a little bit more detail there at the end of this webinar. The second module, John Kohler is going to be leading us through, and that's focused on capital and fundraising. And so really understanding the impact investing landscape, the investors' expectations, various types of capital that you could be seeking, as well as some details around getting your financials together, articulating your government structure, and creating an investment opportunity that really is a snapshot of what an investor might be able to might be interested in learning about your organization before they evaluate your business. The third module that we'll be getting into is focused on your mission, your impact model, and your metrics. And Tracy Weatherby and Joe Schuchter will take us through that, having a clearly articulated mission statement, impact model, and an impact metrics dashboard. Pamela Roussos is going to work with us on reaching your beneficiary. And so that'll include your target market and value proposition, the 5 Ps of marketing, your marketing and sales metrics, with some components on e-commerce, branding, digital marketing, distribution, and customer acquisition. And the second half of the pre-work modules will include looking at your business model and the unit economics, value chain, your business drivers, and making sure that's all tied to your financial model. We're going to go to operations with Jose Flao, and he'll help us create an operating plan with KPIs and establish regular operating reviews within your organization. And then in June, we're going to be doing an in-residence readiness assessment. So we're going to look across the cohort. We're going to be talking to all of you, the entrepreneurs and the mentors, and we're going to try to get a sense of, who's the program working for right now. There are times when an organization just isn't at the stage, that's going to benefit most from the program. And so it might make sense to either defer participation or to maybe jump into one of our different programs if it makes sense. Also, you're all busy entrepreneurs, and sometimes the priority can't be on doing GSBI Accelerator, strategic work. Sometimes you need to just be focused on fundraising. And so we also want to have an opportunity for us to evaluate whether or not this is the right time for your organization as well. So in June, we're going to be talking to everybody, looking across various participation and seeing where everyone's at. And at that point, we'll be inviting the folks that are getting value, that are engaged, and that it is the right program for at this time. And we'll invite those organizations to the August in residence. And so while I do want you to save the date now for those August dates, so it's on your calendar, and so you can plan for it and probably start checking out plane tickets. Don't buy your plane ticket yet, because in June, that's when we're really going to be able to say, these are the organizations that are confirmed for the in-residence, and these are the organizations that we need to find an alternate path for. And so after that in-residence assessment, Steve White's going to work with the group on creating the justifiable ask. And so that'll include understanding the resource and capital requirements for each of the strategic initiatives that have been articulated. What is the return on investment for those initiatives? Having an updated financial forecast and cash flow projection tied to that ask, and also having the amount type and return on the capital to be raised very crisp and clear. And then finally, in July, our last module will be focused on preparing for the in-residence. And so really understanding the sessions that we're going to be leading you through, the various opportunities for speaking that you'll have. And so making sure you have your pitches ready for that, as well as all the materials that we're going to be working with you to create, namely the investment profile, which is a really nice 2-page document that provides a fairly detailed overview of your company that you can use to educate new people about your business. So in terms of your working group of the mentors and social entrepreneurs, we found that weekly calls are the best to schedule. Make sure that you've got something on the calendar on a regular basis to aim for. Of course, you reschedule as needed. And certainly, if the module or a component of the module that we've assigned is irrelevant to your organization, if it is not a good use of your time, talk about that with your mentors. And if you both agree that it's not a good use of your time to invest into it, let us know and bypass it. Early on in the program, especially as we're doing a lot of this baseline assessment work and calibrating on where everybody is, please do as much as you can to put the time and energy into that. And over time, consider skimming if you need to. But I think at this point, especially module 1 and 2, it's very important. And it'll be good for you to have all of this articulated no matter what you do. And this is a sample flow. Once you get onboarded on a group site, which will be by the end of the day, you can review the module on your call, discuss the module with your mentors, really understand that everyone knows what's being asked. You can post a draft of that on group site. Your mentors will probably review it, and then perhaps you can have at your following call discuss it together. They'll provide you some feedback, some constructive input, and then you can post your final draft on group site, and then your mentors will take a look and they'll write approved, great, move on to the next module, and then you'll be able to then move on and get started on the next one. This is the tracking dashboard that we're going to be using to monitor the progress. And obviously, we can only see what we have access to. And so this is really the impetus for having GroupSite. It's a place for us to post all the curriculum, and it's also the place that we hope that you will communicate between the mentors and the entrepreneurs so that we know what's going on. And so we'll proactively go in there every other day or so. We'll update the dashboard, and this dashboard will be included on the biweekly update emails that are sent out, and it'll also be posted on the front page of GroupSite. It also helps sometimes, if you are making work and it's not being reflected on the dashboard, that means that we on the GSBI side are missing something, and you just need to point us to it. In other cases, it really helps us understand if somebody is really just doesn't have internet access or is unable to participate, and we can find some other ways to get everybody re-engaged. So I've talked about the in-residence readiness assessment, just some more detail there on the criteria that we're looking across. Again, it's really around engagement, making sure that the business is at the right stage, and that the entrepreneur is really getting what they need out of the program. Okay, so briefly talking about the in-residence, we're bringing in everybody that we can. We've got content experts that are helping design our content. We've got the social entrepreneurs coming together. We've got the mentors all coming together. We bring in presentation coaches. We also bring in mentors at large, people with on-the-ground social entrepreneurship experience or on-the-ground impact investing experience. We also bring in CEOs for a couple nights to have meals with us and talk to us about various solutions that they've been able to come up with for some of the common challenges we all have. And so it's really an opportunity for us all to live in the same building, to go to the same classes, and to have an incredible network of people to call upon for the various questions and needs you might have. And also to have your mentors there who can work with you through all of the various sessions and the various types of feedback that you're getting, not all of which will be consistent. And so it's a huge learning opportunity. It's a huge opportunity to connect with some of the best resources in the social entrepreneurship sector. And so it's going to be a great time in August and a huge learning opportunity. I'll let you all sort of review this later, so I won't go into too much detail. This is just a general flow of the 9 days, which include some sort of broader networking opportunities, some very, very deep dives on your business model and various pitches, and as well as some more focused sessions, say around HR management or distributor management. So as I said, bringing 2 attendees from your organization is encouraged, not necessarily by me, but by your peers, the folks that have come from your program before, through this program before. And because our fundraising only covers the cost of 1 participant, and we would ask that you help us offset the cost of food and lodging by paying $1,500 if you do decide to bring an additional colleague. You would be responsible for your airfare, but everything else would be covered. So you would fly into San Jose or San Francisco, and we would pick you up. And then from then on, you wouldn't have to really pull out your wallet for anything. So keep that in mind. Okay, so going on to the implementation phase, you're going to have a lot of strategic initiatives articulated and what we call an implementation plan outlined by the end of the in-residence. And so the September to December timeframe is really your opportunity to continue working with your mentors on those particular initiatives, and as well as any other follow-up fundraising conversations and negotiations you may be having. We on the GSBI team, and as well as your mentors, will be available for you through the rest of the year in a less structured way, depending on exactly what you need then. Okay, so There are two main modes of communication that I just want to highlight here. Obviously, email will be important. Try to copy us, especially if it's something around kind of a module deliverable. If it's going to be late or if something's changing, please copy us or post it on group site. Group site is really where we're trying to keep everything. That's, again, where the curriculum is hosted, and that's where we hope that you will at least post the key highlights of the exchanges that you're having between the entrepreneurs and mentors. It's also where we hope that you post your working documents, both draft and final form. There is a quick tutorial if you're having issues with group site, if you want a little walkthrough of it. I'm going to do a very brief walkthrough on this webinar. And of course, reach out if you ever need help troubleshooting. Finally, Skype obviously is a standard for a lot of us, and I realize that internet is often down, and I would encourage the mentors to reach out to us for Skype credit if internet connectivity is a challenge, because you can dial internationally through Skype. You can load up, say, $10 worth of credit, and then you can use the Skype platform to dial, say, your social entrepreneur's mobile phone if they can't get to their computer or whatever. So whatever creative solution you find to stay in constant communication or regular communication, we want to support. So just let us know how we can help, and perhaps some Skype credits might help there. Again, save the dates for the August in residence. You would be arriving on the 10th and departing on the 20th with the 9 days of work in between there. Okay, so I'm going to briefly just do an overview of the organizations participating. I'm not going to go through everyone in detail. Unfortunately, we just don't have that much time, but I do want to make sure that you have this. So 20 organizations. Here's the logos. Maybe you have recognized and run into some of your colleagues here in the past. We have some detail and an overview for everybody on our website. So please go there if you'd like more details. And I'm happy to also make any sort of connections within the cohort if you'd like. I think for this first week, you probably want to just orient yourselves with your mentors and get started on module 1. But certainly over the course of the program, if there is anybody you'd like to reach out to, or if you just want to make a connection within your sector or within your region, just please let me know. Here's a brief overview of kind of the breakdown by sector, by referral source, if that's interesting to any of you. Form of organization and years in operation. Looks like most organizations in the cohort here are for-profit. Sorry, the color is not very useful there. And in operation for 2 to 3 years. Let's see, most have about 10 to 19 employees, and we've got about 55% male and 45% female. With, let's see, a good percentage working globally, the majority working in India, and the second highest number of organizations working in Kenya. Okay, so let's see. This is module 1. So I'm going to pause here, and I'm going to go into group site and just really quickly show you how to find that. So after this webinar, I'm going to be sending you a couple emails. One is going to be around connecting the mentors to the entrepreneurs. And so this will be, your introduction. You'll know who each other's names are. You'll have access to their LinkedIn profile and their email addresses, and you can start scheduling your weekly phone call. And the other thing you'll have access to is access to group site, our online workspace. And so this is what I have up on my screen right now. On this front page is a brief overview of the group site, a screenshot of the tracking dashboard, a preview of some important dates. Here we have the module deadlines. We've got the various subgroups, And down here, some recent activity, and as well as our Miller Center Twitter feed. So I want to point out a couple things. Everybody who is invited in a group site, which is everybody on this call and everybody in the cohort, has access to this front page. And they also have access to our content. So this is the module section here, which I'll go into. However, only the social entrepreneur and their assigned mentors have access to their subgroup. I can see all of these subgroups because I sort of am in all of them. I need to be able to look all across all of them. But when Mohammed with Alashanek Ya Baladi signs on, he'll only be able to see his subgroup here, as will his mentors. And so I want to sort of give you the peace of mind that any sensitive documents that you post, of course, your financials, your business plan, all of that, while the GSBI staff will be able to access it and your assigned mentors will be able to access it, the other organizations within the cohort will not. They are private groups, and when I go into them, you can see who has access by looking on this right-hand, member listing. And there I am, there's Steve, there's our awesome student assistant, Kylie, and there's Andy. And so outside of these four, we'll be adding Mohammed and his mentors, but rest assured that it's fairly private. Okay, so that's one area that you're really going to want to focus on. It's finding your subgroup. That is where you're going to want to, post your draft modules. It's where the mentors will go in to access those materials. It's where you can, post discussion and interact. So, as an example, so as Mohammed's mentors, I would click in here, and here's a shortcut to view the application materials. So as a way to orient myself with the business, I'll probably read through all those, get a sense for all the materials that were sent in through the application process. I can also access a recording of the interview. And then from there, Mohammed will probably click the Start a Discussion button, and then say, title this Module 1. And then say, here's my first draft, and then attach the first draft of his deliverable. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it might be to go into the share button, and then just directly within the file cabinet, upload his drafts. And then maybe send an email to the mentors saying, I've uploaded a draft, take a look at it when you can. Another option that has been useful for most people, but not all, is there's a unique link that you can use to copy on your emails so that a copy is created within GroupSite. Some people are just averse to using any additional platforms, just want to use email. That's fine. There is this link that you can access within your discussions area. I've been able to use it successfully, but I do know that some people have not had success. And so I would hesitate for that being your first option, only because I don't know why it has worked for some people and not others. I haven't really been able to troubleshoot that. So I just worry that might happen again. So keep that in mind. So this is the subgroup area. And then I'm going to go out to the main group site and briefly show you how to access the content. So over here, there's a section called modules, and that's where all of the content is hosted. The first page is something called a resource library. And this has a bunch of materials that may or may not be useful to you, but we've got a lot of things within our, impact and business model category and our operations category and financing and legal. So sometimes if you ask us for additional support on any particular area, we might refer you here first. You can access this at any time and look through it. And of course, if you don't find what you're looking for, just reach out. Module 1 here, the one that we're kicking off today, our program launch module, is essentially an example of how most of the modules will be set up. you'll see that we have videos paired with some text. And so here you can watch a couple-minute introduction to the module led by Andy here. And you can view it within the browser, or obviously you can click through and watch it full screen in YouTube. But there's Andy, and he'll be walking you through Module 1. And we'll also provide an overview with key dates, contact information, and then we get into 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, and 1.4 as the different subsections of this module. Each has a video, each has an overview, and each has a deliverable. Sometimes a deliverable is, talk to your mentors and get to know each other. You don't need to post anything on a group site. In other cases, it may be, here's a template for the full business plan. If you already have a full business plan that meets these criteria, give us that. If not, use this template and upload it. But just note that here in the module section, you are accessing content, but you can't post anything here. This is for you to sort of get the templates, get the content, get an overview. If you want to post something, again, you're going to have to go into the subgroup section. So I'm available. We've got a lot of folks that will be available to you. If you have any issues at all, please don't hesitate. But again, we'll be sending out introductions to the mentors as well as an invitation to group site this afternoon. So for those of you that are getting ready to go to bed, you'll have it in the morning, and for everybody else, you'll have it by dinner time tonight. So jumping back into the slides, briefly just want to do a quick overview of Module 1, which is really understanding the big picture of the GSBI, which includes, sort of the curriculum, and then it'll also be connecting to your mentors, so setting up your weekly call, doing introductions, getting to know each other on a personal and professional level. And then we're going to be laying the foundation for the program, which will include having your full business plan articulated in a slide deck that we can share, as well as doing an assessment of the organization so that we can really start to hone in on the various areas that are going to be of most value to you and your organization over the next several months. So I'm going to talk about next steps really quick, and then we're going to jump into Q&A. So we're almost done. So today, again, we're going to send you a couple emails, get you on a group site, get you introduced to your mentors. What you should be focused on this week is getting that first call set up and then jumping into Module 1. So going into group site, digesting that content, and then making sure that you have certainly a draft posted, but hopefully finalized version up on group site by February 16th. Probably next month, I'm going to be making some introductions. I'll pair each one of you up with someone who's gone through the program recently. You can expect a bi-weekly email update from me. So every other week, I'll try to send you whatever resources we have and an update on where you should be relative to the deliverables and any important links you might need. And just ask that you stay on top of the work, or certainly communicate with your mentors and reach out if you need anything at all. So I'll stop there. And I know Andy's on the call, and I'm not sure if Steve has made it on. He was having a little bit of a connection issue earlier. But I'd like to take any questions, and I'll probably have some other, maybe Andy, take a couple of them, make sure that they get answered correctly if I haven't already covered them. So again, use the chat button all the way down at the bottom, the chat section in the control panel all the way on the bottom, or raise your hand. And I'll go ahead and unmute you if your hand is raised. So I'm looking, and I see Neil, thank you, has a question. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute you, Neil. And you might need to unmute yourself because I see that it is still muted, even though I've unmuted you. So Neil, if you can hear me, I see that your hand is up and I see that you're muted. And so to unmute yourself, you're going to want to right-click on the little microphone button next to your name in the attendee list. Hopefully you can find that. I'm going to see if anyone else has their hand up at the moment, because I'm not getting anything from Neil. Any questions? Anybody? Please raise your hand or type in something into the chat section. Okay, now I'm starting to get worried that I'm talking to to a broken link, but I'm sure you're all there. Oh, okay. So I'm seeing that some people are typing questions into the question section. Okay, so Pradeep, thank you. You can hear me. I appreciate that. Fairman, okay, great. No questions. Bill, let's see, Brian. Okay, great. So I'm getting some moral support. I appreciate that. Let's see. Okay, so Sonali asked, last year, did everyone attend the in-residence? So 20 organizations started the program, same as this year, and 15 organizations attended the in-residence. So almost everybody. Okay, Ella says no questions. Great. Kunal. Okay, Mike, no questions. Okay, great. And Vava was back on. All right. Let's see. Okay. I'm not seeing any other. Oh, so sorry. Joseph says, shall we develop an individual timetable just in case? An individual timetable. I'm not sure I know what you mean, Joseph. I'm going to go ahead and find you and unmute you. And if you could maybe explain your question for me, that would be helpful. Hi, Joseph. Can you hear me? You're unmuted. Hello? Okay, we're having some audio issues. So Joseph, why don't we follow up? I'm not totally sure I understand your question. An individual timetable, yeah. Let's see. Kunal has asked, how can we communicate with others in the course and with the alumni? So connecting to each other, you can do that on group site. Everybody's got a profile that once you get onboarded, you're going to fill out, hopefully put your picture up. You can find each other that way, but we haven't yet figured out the right recipe for online collaboration. So oftentimes it's not until the in-residence that the social entrepreneurs get to connect to each other and make that connection. But if there is an organization or a sector or a region that you want to connect with, I'm happy to make an introduction. But until then, I'm not really sure how I would connect everybody. We don't yet have that platform, but it's something that we're working on. And with respect to the alumni, again, individual connections, happy to make, but we're working on figuring out what the platform option is for getting everybody into a community that they can benefit from. And so we just hired a manager of our alumni engagement. So we'll have someone on board very shortly who will essentially be a dedicated resource for all GSBI alumni, and we'll also be looking into alternatives and options for connecting the group. Okay, great. Okay, so I think I'm not seeing any other. Oh, excuse me. All right, I got to scroll down. This interface is not great. Okay. Zihan says, how about a Facebook group or a Slack channel? I would be happy to set up anything. I have worked so Zihan, can you send me an email after? I think Facebook would be the easiest for me to do because I am not totally acclimated to Slack yet, but I'm happy to do anything that everybody would benefit from and would be useful for. So I'll add that to my action items. Zihan, thank you for that. And I'll follow up and see what the best one would be. Let's see. Andy, did you have something to say, or I hear someone?
Yeah, Cassandra, there were just a couple others in here. Hi everyone. The Joseph rephrased his question. If the SE and a mentor are working together on a specific assignment kind of outside of the main deliverables, should they put together their own timeline, or how does that integrate into the
Mm.
rest of the program?
Do you want to field that one, Andy?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I guess the short answer is it's really up to you and your mentor. You know, we want everything you're doing in the program should be useful to you and relevant and on a time schedule that works for you. Um, so if you're skipping over some deliverables because it's not an issue area um, for your business and the mentor's in agreement with that, that's perfectly fine. And if you're doing something else, it is helpful just in the group site to just maybe post up really quickly what you're working on so that we can know. But it's really about your timeline. As long as you're meeting the key milestones like being ready for the in residence readiness assessment at the end of May, you know what you need to have ready by then. You know what you need will to come here in August. So if you're meeting those, it can be on your own time schedule.
Thank you, Andy. Mike has asked, after the year-long program, do mentors typically keep in touch with GSBI fellows and have an ongoing relationship? I would say that many do. I haven't done a formal survey to really understand what the percentage is, but I know of many that continue to keep in touch with their mentors, and mentors that continue to provide support. We've had some cases where mentors have become board members, and things like that. But again, it's fairly anecdotal evidence, and so yeah. Let's see.
And there's one more here that I think got skipped over. Mohammed asked, he has a semester he's doing an MBA program, it sounds like, and if we would recommend postponing for a semester due to the workload of GSBI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say let's follow up and talk more about it. What I will say is that um, most organizations or social entrepreneurs have indicated they've spent about 3 to 5 hours a week on this. Um, and so it's not overwhelming, but it's a significant amount of time. When you're also running your business and potentially taking care of a family and all those other things. So we want to be flexible, but we don't want for you to feel like this all has to happen right now. So let's take that conversation offline, Mohammed. And you might even want to connect with your mentors and briefly talk about it, because I don't know how many hours your other program is taking and sort of how stressed you're already feeling. So let's talk about that offline. Okay. Anything else, Andy?
No, as usual, you did a great job covering it all, I think.
Okay. Thank you. And Vava, I did see your note about your new email address. So I will make sure that we get that updated. So thank you all so much for taking an hour out of your day and getting oriented and onboarded. I wish I could see you all, but I know that in no time August will be here and we'll all be hugging and meeting and having a great time. So thanks again for your participation in this program, for the work that you do, and for being here today. It was a pleasure talking to all of you. Please reach out if you need anything. I'm going to be sending some emails again, so just stay tuned for that. And on behalf of GSBI and Miller Center, congratulations, and we can't wait to work with all of you. So thank you.